The death of a rescued squirrel turned social media star in Racoon in New York, captivating the country. This is P'Nut the Squirrel, who was found injured on the streets of Manhattan 7 years ago. Mark Longo rescued the animal, eventually sharing videos like this of him and P'Nut on the internet, garnering millions and millions of followers. That all changed on October 30th when Longo's home was raided by New York State's Department of Environmental Conservation. Officers seizing not only P'Nut, but Fred the Racoon, an animal that Longo and his wife were nursing back to health. Both animals were euthanized, part of testing for rabies. Joining me now, I have Mark Longo. Mark, thank you so much for taking the time this morning. I mean, this story has just gutted me. It's been just over 2 weeks since this story unfolded. How are you and your wife holding up?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me, Markie. This has been a tragedy. My wife and I are just trying to kind of live day by day. It's a lot of grieving, it's a lot of anger, it's a lot of emotions at the moment.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I actually, in the height of COVID, had a pet squirrel that would come into my house, and I'd feed him. I named him Cleo and feed him out of the palm of my hand. Nothing anywhere near the relationship that you had with P'Nut. So I'm so very sorry. There was confirmation earlier this week, Mark, that both P'Nut and Fred tested negative for rabies, and that there was a plan to test them before they even raided your home. What was running through your mind when you heard about this?
It's a terrible feeling. You move here, you start a nonprofit, and you get your animals murdered over a little bit of paperwork. It's a little devastating. I was targeted. There's no doubt in my mind that this is a lot bigger than a squirrel and a raccoon, and I'm really hoping to get answers moving forward. It's been 16 days, and the state and the governor and anybody in the government in New York State has not called me, hasn't responded to me. They didn't even tell me that they killed my animals.
So what do you think? Did somebody rat you out? I mean, what happened here? Was it just, who put you on authorities' radars for something like this?
I honestly wish I knew, but, it trickles down to the government. Is this, an open door for people to just complain about your neighbors? And if you do it enough, they're going to raid your house. When does the line, is drawn? It doesn't matter how many complaints. We had a squirrel for 7.5 years. It wasn't ignorance. Nobody's ever told us or educated us on what kind of paperwork we would need. And then we were in the process of doing it while we moved to New York, and then this happened. So it's devastating.
Yeah, and these videos, I mean, they look harmless, I know you told Chris Cuomo earlier this week on our air that you plan to file a very big lawsuit. Have you filed yet? And what does justice look like to you?
Not yet. We are moving baby steps. Justice is for animals, and justice is for people and animals. So this never happens again. We wasted so many resources, 10 officers, full day, a 5-hour raid, a 10-month investigation for a squirrel and a raccoon. That's what the New York State is using our taxpayers' money for.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of questions and a lot of things that don't really add up here. I know some of the authorities involved in this case, they've received death threats. Some of the departments have received bomb threats over this from people who are siding with you and are just outraged by this story. What's your message to those who are threatening harm right now in the aftermath of your story?
I just want to remind those people that we're all human beings and mistakes are made. We don't ever condone violence. It's actually very counterproductive with what we're trying to do here. We're trying to pass new laws in P'Nut's name to help make sure that this never happens to another family. So please, for all the support and the love, I can't thank you all enough, but violence is not the answer here. Justice is, and we could do that in a very lawful way. But this stuff needs to stop. And I've been, strongly advocating against the violence that's been transpiring throughout this whole thing.
Well, your videos brought warmth and happiness to so many of your followers. I'm so very sorry for what you and your wife are going through. Mark Longo, thank you again for joining us. Please keep us posted from afar as your case progresses.
Thank you so much, Markie. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, have a great weekend. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.